the Dream 100 Show. The epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tasner.
There is one big critical reason why people do not end up buying your product or your service. And there's a lot of other factors that are at play, but in today's episode of the Dream 100, I wanted to laser in on one area that most business owners, most marketers, and even most salespeople that do this all day, every day are missing. And this took me, I would say, probably 10 years to figure out. Now, I've heard things like, well, it's the trust factor, and do you have an authoritative position in the marketplace? So are you that local trusted expert? I've seen phrases like, are you the 5-mile famous business? And those are factors that play in. But when I started learning about and started researching frames and really understanding what a frame meant, did things start to shift. And what you're going to find with my content, with the style of the books that I put out, with the webinars that I do, and even many, if not most of these podcast episodes, I follow a certain framework that is built around frames. Now, the number one reason that people do not end up buying from you or with you is because they are in the wrong frame. So we'll go through a couple of different types of business examples so you can see this. And I'm going to give you one that is fresh as of like 20 minutes ago that just happened to me. So landscaping is something that I've referenced a lot, and I like to use landscapers as an example because there are some businesses that I deem easier to market. Like it's kind of black and white. You're able to put up a website and do some paid traffic and build those referral networks, the Dream 100 relationships. Like it's pretty black and white, but there are certain industries like landscapers or funeral homes that are a little bit more intense and they're different than, hey, I'm trying to grow a consulting company, or right now everyone and their cousin is trying to grow something with AI. So it's this whole frame. And the frame that the buyer is in one spot, and then the frame that you're coming from is a different one. So I had a couple of different landscapers pitch me their services. So if the frame that I'm in right now is I'm looking for a reliable company that can do moderate to inexpensive work to just kind of get things cleaned up, and to also do it quickly. So yes, it's that whole, I want it done pretty well, but I want it done cheaply and quickly. And the frame that landscaping company is in is they come into your neighborhood, they see all these big houses and just assume that everyone that has a nice size house or lives in a nice neighborhood is really wealthy and they want to do all these extravagant things, when they're trying to pitch me something that is completely opposite of what I'm envisioning or the frame my mindset is in. It's going to be very challenging to get me to that particular place. Now, the other core thing with frames that people don't understand is that for someone to be able to buy from you, their mindset needs to shift. So let's stick with the landscaping example. And if my frame, again, is I'm looking for just something quick and I want a fast cleanup and I want it for like $500 or $1,000 and that's my frame, that's where I'm at. If they want to be able to get me to where they're at, they're going to have to do some work on me to convert my mindset. I'm going to have to expand. My mind is going to have to shift. If I'm, again, thinking low cost, quick, but they know the better solution is we take our time, we do this in 3 stages. So we're going to do like the cleanup, and then a couple weeks after, we're going to come and do an extra weed layer. And then a couple weeks after that, we're going to do some extra spraying and some trimming. And they start to show me that, well, Michael, I understand that you think that kind of quick and easy and cheap is the best solution. I want to show you why that's not going to work. Let me demonstrate it to you. Let me show some testimonials. Let me tell you more about my authority in the landscaping business. And they're not going to say, I'm going to convert your mindset, but they have to break my frame. They have to get me to take those walls down so that I'm not sitting there with my arms crossed and they're just talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, this is the opposite of what I really wanted. If you're not able to start to take them from the frame that they're in and move them through the process to get them to the other side, it's never going to work. But if they start to work on you, break the frame down, get you to that next level, and that next level. And there's typically 4 different mindset shifts. So I might be thinking one of my mindsets is that landscaping should be cheap. On their side, their mindset shift that they need me to understand is that landscaping shouldn't be cheap because it increases the value of your home. It keeps bugs and insects and critters out when it's done well. And ultimately, if you do it cheaply, it's only going to get worse in the future, and you're going to have to spend 5 times as much money a year or 2 down the line. Maybe another mindset shift that I need to make is that I want it done in like half a day and one and done. And they need to work on that mindset aspect and demonstrate and say this should be done in stages, and here's why. So great, now they've shown me cheap isn't the best way to go. The next thing they've now demonstrated that, yeah, your frame was that you wanted it quickly. You wanted it immediately, and we can make it look nicer now, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Great, now they've shifted that. Maybe the third frame that I'm thinking is that I hate regular mulch and that it looks ugly, and that's why I have rubber mulch. But they need to break that frame. So if they're coming at me and their main piece is they only do this particular mulch, they have to demonstrate why. If you just come at someone and you don't give them the additional context, you're going to be trying to break that frame, their mindset shift, without anything else happening. So if someone were to come, which they did, and present me a proposal, and the amount of money was like $4,000 for what I would deem kind of a spring, now we're into summer cleanup. And my mindset was like under $1,000, and it's not even just the price aspect, but it was the speed, and I wanted to reuse my mulch, and they didn't explain anything. You just, here's the quote, here's the estimate, what do you think? I'm never going to become a buyer. I'm never going to get there, not even because of the money. He could have sold everything, but he would have had to have worked on my frame. So let's look at a different industry. Let's look at my marketing agency. Let's look at the Done For You Dream 100 service that we have as another example. So if you walk into it and your frame right now is, I want to hire your marketing agency and I need results in the next 30 days or I'm not going to be able to pay you. And your mind is like it needs to work immediately. Maybe you have another mindset piece around you've had issues in the past, or you think all marketing agencies are scammers. You feel like you should own all the intellectual property, so everything that an agency does, they should give you, regardless of if you work with them for a month or 20 years. You're going to have all of these different mindset areas as to where you are at. I wrote a book like 15 years ago called Marketing in the Moment, and it was about meeting them where they are at by way of like physically at, in terms of in person, what social media platforms, so being where your buyers and your prospects are, but also meeting their personality and their mindset where they are at so you can then start to convert that mindset. I just did a call with one of my other marketing agencies, and the call went, I wouldn't say horribly. In my mind, it wasn't a good call, and I almost never do sales calls, but we had our sales team doing some training. So I said, hey, I'll take a sales call. And traditionally, we will not get on any kind of sales call unless they've been a bit more indoctrinated in the way that we operate. Because I know if they get on the call and they don't understand that marketing is an investment, we're never going to be able to sell to them regardless of how low the price is. And it's the exact same thing with the Done For You Dream 100. If your frame is that marketing should work immediately, marketing is too expensive, AI should be able to do it, I should be able to do it all myself. If that is your frame and I haven't worked on you before a call and I try and do a one call close, it's never going to work. So how do you start to do this? How do you combat the meeting them at the frame that they're at and then starting to break those frames down so they can meet you where you are? It's very, very simple. You do it through education. You do it through giving them videos. You do it by talking to them during your sales presentation. If you're selling coaching or consulting or high ticket offers, you're doing that over the phone, but you're spending more of your time. If they didn't watch a bunch of videos that you sent beforehand, you have to break down that frame. You can't just get to the meat of, well, tell me what the investment is. It doesn't matter. Like, we've had people come on and tell us a little bit more about your business and where do you want to go. And great, we start talking about how the Done For You Dream 100 will transform their business. And it does. Proven track record. But if in their mind, good marketing should work in the first 2 weeks, and I don't show them why that is a flawed point, and not only just show them, but know that I've converted their mindset, it'll never work. What if you have an e-commerce business? Like, what does this have to do with anything? You have to be continuing to demonstrate and meeting people where they are. Let's say that you sell, let's say supplements online. There's so many supplement companies. And your pitch on your website is that this supplement is going to give you a lot more energy, there's going to be no crash, and it's extremely healthy. But if I'm coming on this and I'm framed as supplements should work in the first 2 days, I should feel it immediately, I should be able to just take them for 30 days and it should be in my system for months, they should be inexpensive, or my insurance should be able to cover them, whatever those different, and it's not even just the objections, but whatever I'm thinking, you need to be able to overcome those, ideally within your copy, within the educational materials on your website, through videos that you're sending to where they're indoctrinated to your way of thinking. The way that you start to convert more, the way that you start to sell more, is by converting their mindset. And that could take 6 months, could take 2 years. I've had people on my email list for 5 years that write us emails, have never purchased one thing, and that's fine. And any product, any service, they consume every piece of content, and I'm grateful that they're taking time out of their schedule to consume anything that I put out. But their mindset maybe has not been moved enough despite the efforts that I've made. So some people are never going to get there. As much proof as you demonstrate. So this particular sales presentation that I did, they weren't indoctrinated on marketing being an investment. So all that they wanted to know was what was the price, and then everything that was included, and how do they know that I'm actually going to do what's in a contract, and then how many people can I talk to for references. And we were pitching something that I wouldn't say it's an insignificant amount of money, but we're talking like $1,000 a month. That's not the right prospect for us. If you're so concerned at $1,000 a month that if it's not going to work, you're going to potentially be going the wrong way, it's not a good prospect, and I need to take them all the way back to the beginning. And they need to be getting everything to indoctrinate them from step one. And until they can then demonstrate that they have understood step one, and that for us is typically marketing is an investment. Plain and simple. Marketing is an investment. They might get 50 videos that I have to continue to send to get them to understand that. Great, I'm checking that out. I'm with you, Michael. But now if their mindset is word of mouth is my number one form of marketing, I need to convert that mindset aspect. And it's the same across any industry, any business that you're in. Everything. If you're a therapist, how do you get someone to actually come more than once every 3 months? If they're coming in thinking that this should be a one and done, or they're thinking that I don't have, like, there's the mindset. You've got to demonstrate that. But it's easy to do in today's age because you've got so many easy ways to demonstrate content. You've got Google VO3 and all the fancy stuff there. You've got every type of AI that can help accelerate the amount of content that you can put out. You can give 50-page white papers that show them everything. You can bring on podcast guests and interview people on a regular basis. You can continue to do all of that to demonstrate this so that when they're ready, they take you up on one of your calls to action and you're now in a readiness state because you've converted their mindset. They're ready to receive. They're ready to listen to what you're going to throw at them. And your buying percentage, your closing percentage will go up exponentially. You have to understand that there's a lot more at play than just your pricing, your website, your authority in the marketplace, your testimonials. It's converting their mindset so that they're in the right frame to buy. And again, it's not just one frame. It's typically 4 mindset shifts to get them to where now they are like right there with you. They're ready to go. Their mindset is in alignment with what you have. Now you can go in for the kill and get that customer. Convert their mindset. Convert their mindset. Do it through great content, great education, and my favorite form of marketing, which is videos. Tune in next week. I've got some more fire for you as always. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.